All right, let's discuss the unique pattern of Sung-Jae Im. Couple of things that stand out right off the bat is his upper body gets quite forward at setup, so his weight definitely gets on the toe side. You can even see a little bit of some lift in his heels. Typically when this happens, it's going to be very hard to rotate around your body and get some hip turn. This is the case with him as well. You know, if I highlight the position of the hands at setup and then we show where his hands travel at the start of his backswing, due to a little bit less hip turn and because his weight is out onto his toes, you certainly see this type of reaction from every player, which is where the hand path starts to work away from the body. Now, he doesn't have a ton of forearm rotation early in the takeaway, so the club stays to the outside of his hands, but his lead arm is certainly separating from his chest and moving out and away from him. So by the time he gets to left arm parallel in his backswing, we call this position 3, you can see he has virtually no hand depth at this point. You know, this is a situation that I probably would not want to see with the recreational golfer because, you know, it's really easy to hit slices when you don't have a ton of hand depth, and you can see he keeps that right hip quite internal. His hands stay in front of him. It's a combination that's going to get him into quite a difficult position at the top. This is arguably a death sentence for recreational golfers. He's obviously a world-class player, so he's going to overcome it far, far better than most. But you see some lead wrist extension, which creates the toe hang, and which is why his face angle gets quite open. And because of the lack of hip turn and his hands working away from him early in the takeaway, he has no hand depth at the top. Now, from here, most golfers, you would see a very, very aggressive steepening of the shaft pitch at the start of the downswing. That's not the case with Sung-Jae. As he transitions, yes, his hand path is working out and away from him. Naturally, when you rotate, your hands are going to work out in front of you. If you're starting at the top with very little hand depth, it's only normal that by the time you're halfway down, you're also going to get the lead arm quite out and away from you. But he actually manages the pitch of the shaft better than most golfers simply would at that point. So the one thing I will say that I like a lot is despite the fact that he has a lot of cupping to his lead wrist at the top, which gets the face open, he manages it much better coming down. Lead wrist has certainly added some flexion to it, and you see the face angle is a little bit stronger here than it was at the top. That is certainly preferable. But because his lead arm gets so out and away from him, in order not to cut across this golf ball or hit too down and left on it, he has to side bend a lot. So you're going to see a lot of right shoulder dropping, left shoulder rising through the ball. Hands are certainly going to shoot down the target line. And typically you'll see that scrunched up lead shoulder through impact when you're side bending so much. He doesn't lose as much rotation as most golfers would trying to offset these variables, but really he has to side bend because of the lack of hand depth at this point. So he has certainly a position at the top that wouldn't be recommended for the recreational golfer, but he's world class and he overcomes it.